very honored to interview and, of course, excited. Dr. Philip has a doctorate in music and violin performance. Trust me, I've heard him and he plays wonderful.
Thank you.
Oh, well, anyway, let's get on with the questions. We have a very important question we like to ask all our guests. Right, Elizabeth? Yes, Mariam. Which is, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Ooh, well, you know, Rocky Road is pretty nice, but anything that has, say, butterscotch or something like that, or even coffee flavor are my favorites.
I've never tried coffee before.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Well, did you grow up in California?
I did not. I grew up in Oklahoma.
Where did your love of music begin?
My mother played piano all of my life, and I started listening to her, and then we would get records in those days. You know those black things that spin around and you put a needle down on it? Have you ever seen one of those?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Well, really all those but it didn't really work. I've seen it in a house before, except they never put a record inside of it. I've seen the thing that you put the record on. Yeah, and so it didn't really work that well though, because like the bass, I guess I forgot why we never turned it on.
But we listened to music a lot on the record player, and so I started learning to love music as a young child, listening to the record player.
Wow! What led you to first pick up a violin?
Well, when I was in 3rd grade, my first violin teacher, although she wasn't my violin teacher yet, came around and played Yankee Doodle for our classroom and said, "Who wants to study violin?" And so she passed out papers, and I took the paper home and I begged my parents to let me take violin lessons, and that's how I got started.
How old were you when you started playing violin?
I was 8 years old.
Do you think this is a good age to start learning violin?
I think it's a really good age. That's the age I started. But a lot of people who do really well on the violin start younger than that even.
Really? Like how?
Well, I don't know if you've heard of the name Jascha Heifetz, but he began playing the violin when he was 3 years old.
Wow.
And he was already kind of famous in his neighborhood by the time he was 8 years old.
I remember when you used to sit in the double stroller and listen to Teresa Pio play.
Right, you were baby twins.
Yeah. Baby twins? You are happily married to Donna. How many children do you have?
I have one daughter, and she's a grown-up lady with her own children now.
Ooh. Is your daughter pursuing with music?
Just on her own. She's not studying formally, but she's got a lot of talent.
Like she's really good, probably.
She can sing, and she's not had very much training, but she can sing beautifully.
Oh, that's wonderful. Let's talk politics. We hear you are related to John Tyler, the 10th president of the USA.
That is the family story. That's what people have told me.
What does being the descendant of the 10th president of the United States feel like?
Well, it doesn't make me special in any way. It's just an interesting fact.
Yes, it is. I wonder about him.
You have every right to wonder about him. I don't think he was that good a president. Now I'm talking politics. He wasn't very good.
What do you mean?
He didn't provide the greatest leadership during his presidency.
He was the 10th president. Like, that was like one of the oldest presidents.
I know, but there are some really great presidents in our history and some that were not so great, and he was one of them that wasn't so great.
That reminds me, I remember, he's the 10th president and we are 10.
Now that's really significant. I'm glad you brought that out. It is funny.
It's actually a big coincidence.
Coinkydink.
Coincidence.
Oh, coincidence.
Coincidence. Do you have any stories about him?
I just heard that after he was president, he became very poor, and nobody really knew where he was until right after he died. He just kind of faded away.
Was he involved with music as well?
I don't know anything about that part of him. Nothing.
What if he secretly pulled up a piano out of his suitcase every single time, and then except it can shrink, and then he took it out and started.
That would be an
piano.
awesome piano if it could do that.
And then it's hidden inside of a top secret museum that nobody knows about right now. Well,
I think you should write stories.
Well, I don't
You
think
have a
they
great
had.
imagination.
Well, they didn't really have electronics back then, So it couldn't shrink and become big unless he could push it together and then it could shrink, but then it would break. Unless it shrinks. Okay. Have you visited Sherwood Forest Plantation, which is almost open to the public? John Tyler's home.
I've never been there, no. Have you?
No. I want to one day visit all of the homes of the presidents, though.
Oh, that would be fun. That'd be a great outing.
But it would probably take a year or two or something
Yes,
like that.
We've had so many presidents.
Our oldest sister wants to become the president of the USA.
I've heard that.
We will definitely vote for her. Of course. You performed in many states as a soloist. Tell us about that.
Well, I grew up in Oklahoma, and so I started performing there. And then I moved to Indiana, and I performed while I was there. And then I moved to Florida, and I lived several places, and I performed in different places in Florida while I was living there. And then I moved to Louisiana, and I performed several places there, and also over in Texas while I was living there. And then I moved to California, and I performed here and across the border in Mexico.
Is it fun in Mexico?
It's what fun in Mexico?
Is it fun to just be in Mexico?
To be in Mexico? I think there are some people who have fun being in Mexico. Yes, absolutely.
Was it fun for you to be in Mexico?
It was. I played in a really cool orchestra in Tijuana.
Isn't Tijuana really far away from here?
No, it's right across the border. In fact, it's considered a twin city to San Diego. You just go across the border and you're suddenly in Tijuana.
And we're twins.
Ah, now that's cute. One of you could live in Tijuana and the other one in San Diego.
Why do you think it's important for kids to learn an instrument?
I think it makes them smarter. And then maybe they will love it so much that they will keep doing it when they grow up.
What advice would you give to young students who want to have a career in music?
Practice.
Because practice makes permanent or perfect.
Permanent.
Okay.
So you have to practice correctly. But you have to practice or you don't learn how to do it.
Tell us about your 2 other degrees you earned.
Well, they were in music also. Actually,
Really?
I have 4 degrees.
Really? You have 4?
I have 4 degrees, yes.
So your 3 other degrees?
My 3 other degrees.
Okay.
My first degree is in music teaching. My second degree is in teaching music. And then I got my 3rd and 4th degrees at the same time, and one of them is in violin, and one of them is in conducting.
That is very impressive.
Thank you.
And so we know that your passion is to teach violin, and we know that your violin classes are so wonderful.
Well, it's because you're good students.
What is your favorite kind of type of music?
Whatever I'm playing at the moment.
Oh, so like, for example, if I give you a piano piece.
I'm not so much of a pianist.
Fine, then what if I give you a tuba? A tube.
I'm certainly not a tuba player.
Okay, what about violin?
Violin, yes, we can talk about violin.
Well, anyway, tell us how long you've been a violin teacher.
Wow, I started teaching violin in 1976.
So how long was that?
That's a very long time.
How long was that? Wait, I can add.
Can you?
Challenges of teaching new students how to play violin.
Each student has their own ideas of how it's supposed to go, and you have to kind of find where they are and what muscle tensions they have or what wrong ideas they have, and you have to kind of work around that. So the challenge is to find where that student is.
Point Loma String Project. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it started in 2003. And the cool thing about it is that some of the people who started in the string project are coming back to Point Loma Nazarene University as students. I even have someone who wants to start teaching in the string project next year who started playing the violin in the string project way back when.
Thank you for your time.
You're quite welcome.
I'm Mariam. And I'm Elizabeth. And we're the Toby twins. See you next time on Twin Talk! If you like our show, subscribe here, like